extra long drill bit that I bought yesterday. I was meant to stop at the Bunnings, at my local Bunnings, and I sailed straight past it talking to you. My mind just completely forgot that I needed to stop, and I realised as I got closer to work, I went, well, I'll have to drive past the Minchinbury one, which is near work. It's a bit busier, so a little bit held up inside, but I was able to just go in and get it, and that allowed that job to get done. Today, I'm meant to have all 4 of my classes, but I've been asked to be the deputy today. I've messaged both of my senior classes, told them to see the staff room to get laptops to work on their quizzes and evidence central work and on guard. I also sent their classroom codes to the librarian in case they go up there rather than the staff room. The stage 5 classes, metal and timber, have been merged with other classes. Metal class is merged with a food tech class, and the timber class is merged with ag. I'm going to try and duck up to the staff room this morning and just find some worksheets for both classes. I've got a feeling that in the past I've bought some books, like textbooks that had worksheets to go with them. And for the most part, I write my own question sheets for the books because I want to be a little bit more specific. The ones that come with the books, while I guess they expect the students to read all the information, they're not coming away with a lot on their sheet. I usually have mine go in a little bit more in depth, but for today, I'll just use the ones that were written for the book, I think. Righty, hubbo. Just had a dash run from school with a trailer full of bike parts to the scrapyard. Got year 12 to help me load up the trailer yesterday. But because I was up as DP, I wasn't up that end of the school today, and I just had the trailer sitting in the construction space. So I drove around the school this afternoon after logging out of the office, hooked up the trailer, tied everything down really well, because the last thing I wanted to happen is something come off the trailer as you're driving. Got to be in through the gate by 4:45 so they can weigh you in, offload, weigh you out. I had this fear that they closed early on Friday, like a lot of places. So I found their number in my phone, rang them when I was on my way over. I was still over in Warrington area, the back of Warrington. It was 20 past 4, but they said, oh yeah, you should get here in time. It's amazing how 2 sets of traffic lights can slow you down, because the traffic lights to come off Richmond Road, to come down Careen, to come down the back this way, must have been 4 sets of light changes before I got through, and then come down here to this set of lights to come in, plus the roundabout just up the road, trying to get around that. I think I pulled up at their gate at 22, straight in, weighed, and their pile of scrap, this is the smallest I've ever seen the pile. So they must have like offloaded a fair bit, because there wasn't much in there at all. So you had to back in a fair way as well, rather than just pulling up at the side and chucking stuff off. As I'm trying to back in, I'm feeling rushed. It takes me 3 goes to back the trailer in, because as I start to turn, it wants to go really quick. The 2 of the guys that work there, they sort of got there, we got the straps off really quick, just started hurling stuff off the back. His other ute comes in with a trailer of stuff just as I'm trying to back in, and he reverses in next to me, and his stuff was easy to get off. They were able to drop his tailgate and just slide everything out. But because the bikes were all sort of meshed in together, we had to just sort of pull them all off from the top, and got them off, run around, get weighed back on, or weighed out, run back around, out. And of course, end of the day, the cashier's office is already closed. So I just had to give the ticket to the manager, like the owner. And he said, just leave with me, the girl will do it in the morning. 340 kilos of bike pieces. As we were pulling them out of container yesterday, you could see the remnants of some of the past bike projects. that were being played around with my previous staff. Racks going on the bikes, or trialling different handlebars and different wheels and all of the bikes, and there would have been at least 20. There was really only 2 bike frames that weren't salvageable because they've been chopped apart. Nothing was massively rusted except for chains. There's always the grand goals, what you'd like to do with things, what you'd like to do with your students. The previous project ideas, some kind of came about. Well, I guess when you consider that the last metal teacher who was really doing anything with that sort of stuff he left in 2017. What are we doing, Pat? Eh? Waiting on my mum. So we're currently in Rutherford, up near Maitland. Bit over a 2.5 hour drive from the house. We're at I can't show you the sign. We're at the RSPCA up here because my wife spotted a little Maltese terrier, an old fella who desperately needs a new home to love him. She's inside meeting him. We'll have a meet with me and Batman in a little bit. We've just done a quick walk to try and burn off some energy, and he ran the whole way. We just sort of went up the street, turned around, did roughly 900 metres in 10 minutes. He was bolting. Thought I'd try and get a little bit of his energy burn out, but he seems to still have a fair bit in him. Maitland is inland from Newcastle, so it's north of Sydney. Just after 11:30 now, which was when our appointment was for. It's just been a long drive. It's good to get out of the car. I'm pretty sure this little fella will take to my wife. It's just whether he takes to Batman and vice versa. Fingers crossed. We'll see how things go. Well, it was a bit of a struggle in the drama, but we got this stood up with year 12, and it's good to see that it will be taller than the fence just here. So the sun will probably have that above the fence line as it is, but I mean like outside it as well. When this one stands up, which we've got to get these legs into place, then we can look at bolting it in. So at the moment you can see it's just sort of teetering there. All of these bolts are tightened up. The one that's in here is really hard to get done because the socket doesn't fit inside the leg or in the channel. So it's kind of, that's as tight as we can get it, the one that's inside the leg, but these are all nice and tight. And definitely worthwhile having the scaffolding, because I had 2 boys up on the scaffolding and they helped support this once we got it lifted up to them. And we dragged the legs until they stood up. Then one person here, one person there, and a person on each leg. Get over there without the sun shining in my face. So there was 2 up on here. There was 1 on a leg, 1 on a leg. I was up on there, that seat. 1 was on this seat, so they could slowly tilt the legs out until. Yeah, it's definitely windy today. Alright. So when I next have them, which I'm not sure when that is, we will move the scaffolding down to that end and we'll get the legs underneath and set up on a bolt hole. So these are our bolt holes. We have to have one loosely in here. That's the pivot bolt with the leg. And here's the ones on this side, so there. And then we can lift this side. It should stand up straight and we'll be able to get the other legs in. And then position it for bolting on the ground. Would have been nice if the whole group was here, but there's a couple that are rehearsing for Kappa Showcase tonight. But the main thing is that it's getting there. One thing I'll have to do though is I think get some galvanised Dynabolts, because the ones they gave in the kit are not. And so bolting them down with non-galvanised bolts, they'll end up rusting through eventually. And I don't think I've got any 10mm ones here already. Last night was our school's, actually our college's Kappa Showcase. It started out with a stack of dance routines from different groups, cultural groups and the dance group in the school, like the dance class. That was kind of performed in the COLA, which is the covered learning area in the primary school, because we had joined each other, which made an excellent little amphitheatre. That was followed by musical items in a courtyard, musical items in the hall, and drama items that had been pre-recorded in one of the music rooms. And there was all artwork on display from students from 7 through 12 across the college. Officially started at 4:30, but one of the school bands started playing like straight after school, playing, practicing, whatever, out in the courtyard, sort of welcoming people to the school with music. And then yes, went from 4:30 through 6:30. It was fantastic to see the talent from students across the college, and in particular the talent of some of our students, because some of my students asked if I was going to stay back to be there and to support them, and they really appreciate when their staff to hang around for that sort of stuff. It was a bitterly cold night. It doesn't snow here, so not that bad. But yeah, the wind was quite cold. And then at the end of the night, my hospitality staff set the night up. They were serving hot soup in little bowls and hot chocolates and coffees, and they had a sausage sizzle over at the side as well. And my hospo students had to put the coffee machine that we use in the mornings on Friday mornings for the community that lives in the office area, and then all of the other stuff had to go up into the kitchens. Some stuff put in the fridge, like the milks that had been opened, all of the jugs used for the hot chocolates and the different types of milks for the cafe, for the coffee machine, and all of the soup tureen type things, they all had to be rinsed out and put through our industrial dishwasher that we've got. I was really impressed. 2 students came up to do that, 2 of the Year 12 hospo students, and they just grabbed out all of the tablecloths and cloths that they used and tea towels, all that sort of stuff, put them into our washing machine, again an industrial size washing machine we have, and then they set about cleaning up and packing up everything else, because if you don't clean that stuff off stainless steel things, they can eventually start to eat into that stuff. You definitely want to get the milk out of all the jugs. I think I ended up leaving school, I think it was about 20 past 7. We got the students out. They'd finished up by 7. Like I said, it included running all of this stuff through the dishwasher, and then the dishwasher has to have a rinse out and drain cycle to make sure that the water doesn't stay sitting in the bottom of the dishwasher overnight. I walked the students down to the front where the principal and one of the deputies let them out, and the head teacher Kappa was coming out and had to go up to their staff room to get their bag. I had to grab mine out of the staff room. Congratulated her on the head teacher Kappa on a good night. She said, yeah, I just wish we could get every campus to get involved fully. I said, what, they didn't stick around to help pack up, sort of got 6:30 and took off, and she goes, yeah, and set up. The Kappa staff and students were meant to be helping set up and practices, yes, the day before and all of yesterday. They didn't. The artwork stuff must have come over late to help set up, because there was a lot of artwork from the other campuses. But I think the performers just sort of rocked up. I'm not exactly sure. We even had parents calling the office in the morning from other campuses saying, is my student supposed to be there before 4:30, straight after school or during school? I was in the office and I said, as far as I know, they were meant to all be here helping set up, so we were going to have students from all the campuses help set up. I wasn't down there. I had class right up to the end of the day and then went down. My staff room is getting new desks. We're getting rid of we've got modular desks in our staff room, and we've got them set up a lot differently to how they were when I started there. They're good, solid desks, but they're also incredibly heavy. Lots of MDF. I think each desk is somewhere between probably around 5 foot wide, 1500 mil wide, 750 mil deep. But then there's like the big backs that go up high, and if anything falls behind your desk, it's lost forever. And if there's any cabling issues, you can't get to the cabling in the wall or the plugs to fix it up. And like one issue we had to drag one set out from the wall, and it's still sitting out. So what we're getting, one of the other staff rooms has them. What we're getting is fixed benches that just sort of wrap around the walls of the staff room where the desks currently are. The legs on them are big brackets that go against the wall, and our walls are brick, except for one's just a timber frame. And regardless of where you are along the bench, your knees aren't going to hit anything. There's little scallops along the back for your cables to come up from power boards and network connections and that sort of thing. We're going to keep all our rolling drawers, like our under desk drawers, because they're like little filing units on wheels. Keep all our chairs, just basically replace the desks with one long bench. One of my staff members who has their desk kind of in the middle of the room can join us along the wall and open up the room a little bit in that end. They're coming to measure for that today. I hope that means that they're going to do it during the holidays. But if that does, it means we've got to clear off our desks before the end of next week. Fresh start, not having any shelving put up on the walls, but we can. But we're not going to do that straight up. Just get the desks in, figure out what we need, where we can sit. Probably pretty much going to sit in the same spots. Unless people want to move around. I don't care. It will allow us to have a nice fresh start and feel in the room. The thing is, I need to fit seating for 10 staff. I think this will be good. We shall see. Does mean we'll probably have a little less space, but I find, especially with myself, if I've got more space, I collect more crap. It just sort of spreads out. Made it to the end of Thursday. One toolbox in progress. Another couple here, one down in the back. Finished, they got finished today. His class, or the ones who come all the time, are working really well. So I've got them again period 2 tomorrow. I know we've got to do some online stuff, some quizzes and some calculations, because that's what this topic is. So I'll see what's there and what we need to do.